you'll notice it's been a day or two or a long time since we've done one of these, or since I really have posted in here. And I want you to know that I have not forgotten you. I have been experiencing change and growth and trying to decide where exactly I want to take this particular page, channel, whatever you want to call it. And I'll tell you this, in all honesty, I'm not completely clear yet, but it's coming into clarity. So don't be surprised if we have, first of all, we have a lot of really neat guests lined up, kicking it off again with Easton today. And there may be a little bit of pause in between guests. Don't let that, get you all shook up. Just know that they're coming, and scheduling and such is, what it is. But that we may also change the name of this page. It's in contemplation. And so if that happens, again, just know that it's exactly in right order, and we're excited for what's coming. And I'm excited for what's coming. It's been a really squishy space of time for me. Not a lot of space in my head, as I have been experiencing letting go of old shiz and learning how to create space again for things to like roll and flow like they were created to do. And on my own path of reclimbing some mountains and learning how to forgive, and learning how to forgive myself and for various things, but mostly that thing that a lot of us have in not believing in ourselves or not trusting in our ability and letting a few things knock us down. And I tell you what, I'm super grateful for the space that I've been in. Hasn't been fun. And I know that you understand that space, because at some point or another, you've experienced that as well. And I think I'm telling you this today because I want you to know, keep going, keep putting one foot in front of the other. It goes back to one of my favorite quotes by Bucky Fuller. Buckminster is his name, where he says, God didn't give us a right foot and a wrong foot. He gave us a right correction and a left correction, and a right correction and a left correction. And I want you to know that they're just steps. They're just choices. They mean nothing about you other than you get to make a next correction if needed. So there's that little tidbit. I had no intention of telling you that today, but there it is. I want you to know that I believe in you. I trust you to trust yourself in knowing what's right and best for you. And to remember that you're the mountain, you're the high place. And if you want or need assistance in getting you there, reach out. It's part of what I do. Reach out. If it's not me, I can connect you with some of our guests or people who are in my circles who may do the thing that you're looking for. So with that, just know I haven't forgotten you. I love you so much. I'm grateful that you share your time with us, and you allow us to expand our own minds and knowledge by giving it to you as well. So, all right, let's get this thing started. I usually lead the breathing exercise. And today, as I was messaging Easton, I thought, I'm going to invite Easton to do the breathing exercise today. One, because it sounds like fun. And two, I just felt inspired to do so. So I'm going to bring Easton up on screen and let him, we'll introduce him here more in a minute, but let Easton lead our breathing exercise today. Here's your countdown. Hey, welcome, Easton. So good to have you here.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here.
That's good. I like it when my guests are excited.
So, so you ready to do this?
Let's do this quick.
Okay. So as you probably know, the left side of your body is your feminine receiving side, and your right side is your masculine giving side. So I've actually developed this meditation to help balance the two sides energetically. And you want to put your mudra like this while you're doing this. And we're going to do 7 breaths together. What you're going to do is you're going to breathe into the left side of your body, and you're going to breathe out the right side of your body. And we're going to do 7 breaths, and you're going to feel awesome. You ready?
Okay, really quick question. Are these breaths on a certain count? Or is it just, and how does one focus on breathing on the right side versus
Okay, so let's just do a simple 5 second in, a brief hold, and a 5 second out. You can obviously go longer on your own. And what you do is just your energy goes where your attention goes, your energy flows. So you just gotta imagine the air coming up through the bottom of your left foot, but coming up, just staying on the left side of your body, up through your left arm, up through your left neck, and up through the left side of your brain. And then you're going to have a brief hold where you transfer the energy over to the right side, and then you just go out. So breathe up maybe to either your crown or your third eye area when you hold it, and then let out through down to your right foot and gone to Mother Earth. And she says, thank you.
Awesome. Awesome. I love it. Thank you
for
ready?
That information. So we're going to do 7 breaths together. Okay, ready? How'd that feel?
Oh my gosh, I love it. To be honest, I've done box breathing, but I've never done it in that way. That was actually kind of trippy. Like the ability to focus that energy and that breath all the way up your body and literally watch it transfer to the other side and push it out. That was pretty cool. That was pretty cool. Thank you for that.
Yeah, so basically what you do is you become more bi-brained, which is more a holistic person when you're bi-brained, right? We don't want to be left or right. We want to be more integrated. So, and one thing that's going to really help with that too, when you're doing the meditation, is crystals. So if you take a crystal, a receiving crystal would be something like your heart chakra and up. Like any of those chakra colors, put that in your receiving hand. And then any of the lower ones where you want to clear those lower chakras at lower vibrational dense energy, put something like obsidian, red jasper, something like that on here, whatever you're working on. But you want to give that stuff away. You want to bring in the good stuff with your left palm and let it out through your right palm.
Oh my gosh, I love it. I love it when like rock speak comes up.
Yeah,
gem speak. I love it. Partly, I've studied it a little bit. I don't know a ton about it, but it's super intriguing to me, and I love the power of it. That even if you don't completely understand it, if you just trust that it's intuitive and it will, like, that is so cool. So thank you again for leading that, for giving us that brief description. I have a feeling we're going to talk more about this as we get into things.
probably.
But so you guys, this is my buddy, my brother Easton, and we met. Oh my gosh, it's probably been 4 or 5 years ago through another company, and I knew Kelson. I knew Easton as a suit, basically, and that was how I always, when I saw him, that is always what it was. Nice shirt and tie, jacket, very professional. Not that he's not professional now, but I'll tell you what, a few years, it's probably been 2 years since we saw each other in person. I saw Easton and I was blown away at this new character that was before me. He was lighter, both in his countenance and his being. He was lighter on his feet. He felt more sincere. Not that he wasn't before or serious about what he was doing, and that he didn't really, I'm not saying he didn't know how to have, how to manifest and bring things to him, but this was a different Easton, and I was intrigued, and I was excited to hear about the journey. And I still only know about this much of his journey, so maybe we can talk a little bit about that today. But I love this Easton, and I'm really happy to present him to you. I can tell you this. I know he's happier. I know he now comes from very honest places, heart space places. And Easton knows how to listen to himself now. He's been on a journey of huge discovery, huge letting go, huge reconnecting with himself and
Mm-hmm.
spirit and universe and all those things. As you can probably already tell from the few words that he has said. He also happens to be an eye doctor and has written a new book. We talked about this when I saw him last, and I'm super excited that we're going to get to talk about that today as well. And I mean, really, there's probably a lot more I could say, but I'm going to leave it right there. And Easton, if there's anything you feel that you want to express before we get into things, feel free to. But welcome to
Thank
Live
you.
and Unscripted, and for being here today. It means the world to me.
Thank you. I received that. Thank you so much. Thank you for seeing me.
I see you, brother. So, oh my gosh, like where to begin? One of the questions that I typically ask my guests, because I think it's fun, and not too many people ask this question, is what was Easton like as a kid? What were your hopes and dreams? What were your aspirations? What did you want to be when you grew up? And let's start there.
That's great because honestly, I'm definitely, as you evolve, you move back into child stage. So I'm really more connected with that probably than I've been ever, which is amazing. In fact, I did the process just a couple days ago where I went back to my 7-year-old self and I was thinking about that, that inner child coming, actually had an experience with that inner child coming to me and healing some of my prior aspects, which was amazing. But yeah, I would just to give you a little bit of a hint. My mom's an artist, and she does a lot of mostly oil painting, but a lot of different mediums. But she did this picture back then. She did, a lot of religious pictures, and she did this picture of our whole family sitting on well, I was sitting on Christ's lap. I got to be the golden child, and the rest of the kids were surrounded around, like he was gathering the children in, right? So, but my dad was Christ in the picture, and then she turned him into painted him into Christ. But I was sitting on his lap, and my sister sent this to me a couple of like a year or two ago after I woke up, and she said, "Do you see what it says on the shirt you're wearing?" I was 3 years old. She said, "Do you see what it says?" I'm like, "No." Because the technology these days, you can take a picture and you blow it up, So this old picture, and it says on my shirt, "Warning, atomic energy." So if that gives you any hint, I was full of life. I was very, I'm double fire air, so I was just, a lot of fun. Just the newness of life. I mean, Winnie the Pooh was my best friend, and he's very very
Yes.
Tao, like. You know what I mean?
Have you read his book?
Yeah, the Tao of Pooh.
The Tao of Pooh? Like, I love that book.
I know. It's like, oh, now I know why I loved Pooh. So I was, full of energy. I ran away from home many times. My mom had to come find me. The sheriff had to come find me one time. I was on this pipe that I thought in my mind was going to go to the North Pole, and if I just walked on this pipe long enough, I could find a polar bear. And so after I don't know how long, the sheriff found me and he got me home as quick as he could because I was stinking up his car. And but anyway, I was a lot. I was a lot. But I love to play. I love with my friends. We were doing, we would go we had Ford houses. We would, bike riding every day, skateboarding, and we just had fun. We were always like figuring out ways. I was very entrepreneurial as a kid. We would figure out ways to earn money so we could go down to 7-Eleven, spend every last penny on junk food, ice cream,
Right?
candy, and all that stuff. So, I mean, back then you could buy 2-penny candy. So it was like, yes, I spent it all.
Did you guys have things like the actual like Laffy Taffy that was taffy? Or you had those like Jolly Rancher sticks? And they had a caramel one back then?
The best. Black Cow, all that good stuff. Yeah,
Yes.
for sure.
All
Bitter
right.
honey, just, ruin your teeth, So yeah,
I
I mean,
love it.
I love to laugh, and I was kind of the probably the center of attention. I was the sixth child at that time, and I probably stole my mom's heart, and even though I was a lot of work. But yeah, I was just full of life and wonder, and just wanted to experience everything I could.
So, so, and maybe this isn't the moment for this question, but a question that I would like to answer. Um, I feel like there's one in between, but one of the questions is, where did this, what'd you say, double air fire atomic personality, where did it shift? And you like stepped into the person who I met. Not that you still didn't have that,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
the
That's a good
very
question. Yeah.
responsible,
Hmm.
like, okay, but first, maybe the question is, what did you want to be and do? And did
Yeah.
you follow those paths? Like, let's go there first.
Yeah. So, I probably like every kid, I wanted to be either, an astronaut or a fireman, right? I wanted to
Yeah.
like, you think about it, I just wanted to do something adventurous, something fun, or I wanted to help people out. So I think it was probably not until my sophomore year in high school where I figured I want to be a doctor, because a doctor was a great way to help other people. So somehow I wanted to have some way I could serve other people. I knew I wanted to do that. I loved the feeling of service. That's my love language. My primary love language was, acts of service. And I think really what it came down to was I wanted to help heal people. I maybe not put in those words, but I wanted to somehow make their lives better, help them get healthier in some way. So, firefighters, the same type of thing, where you're like, okay, I'm going to save people's lives,
Right.
that type of thing. So but I, I just knew all along the way there was something there, something deep down told me like, you're going to do big things, and, you can't play small. And so, you can't be shy. You need to go out there, put yourself out there. You might make some mistakes, but you're going to learn faster that way. And I probably started to shift a little bit. I think most people do around 12. Their brain starts to change, and their crown chakra gets shut off a little bit. But it's all part of the program. It's all part of the
Right.
journey of us having
Right.
to forget, and then we can remember. So that's probably kind of when I start. And you get into high school and junior high, and you start like, like, am I accepted by all the cool people? And you're kind of worried
Yeah.
about what other people think, and the peer pressure type stuff starts to come in. You're like, yeah, like, I want to be a jock, but I don't want to be a jock. It's like I want to be cool, but I don't want to be too cool type thing. So it was just, I think that's where the politics and the mind starts to come in around then, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. Yeah. I do. I do. I get it.
Yeah.
So you decided that you wanted to be a doctor,
Yeah.
because it helped fulfill that desire to help people, that underlying, like, I'm here for big things. And I'm going to tell you, like, I feel that in my own soul, which is probably one of the reasons I'm drawn to you, is because you get it, I get it, and I know that our listener today more than likely gets it. And so I'm really excited to further this conversation because, like you say, things start to dampen or get blocked altogether, and we still have that desire and that feeling, but we just like pound up against walls. And so I'm excited to hear how that worked for you, and then again, as we get into it, like where that shift came,
Okay.
that brought you back to your heart.
Well, when you go into school, I mean, schooling is all about traditional schooling is really, taming the beast, and taking some of that wildness out of your heart, and so that you become more docile and controllable, and
Yes.
and you get into the sociality of being a good citizen. And I think that in itself is a dream killer, with the teachers, they want to put their brain inside yours, and
Right.
that's a a brain of conformity, a brain of bells are going to control your life, and whistles, and you know what I mean, those types of things. So I think school
Well,
is, I think the probably the worst thing that we could do to ourselves is to go through traditional schooling, because it's really, hey, let me teach you how to be not your true self.
right. Well, and if you look back, one, how easily we fall in line to all of that, again, because we want to fit in, we want to be accepted, we want to be liked, all the things. But when you look at why school was started in the first place, it was to create workers. It was to create people who don't know how to think for themselves, and who know how to come and work from 8 to 3 or 8 to 5 and follow, like you say, the bells, punch the card, do the things, and man, we're damn good at it.
Yeah, it's a
We're super,
institutionalized dumbing down for sure.
yep, super, most of us super unhappy, and we don't even really know why. And it probably has a lot of roots in that.
Yeah,
Wow. So you became an eye doctor.
I became an eye doctor. Yeah, it was a lot of schooling. It was it was a big part of my life. But when you know what you want to do, and you got to jump through all the hoops. But I took it on, and I was a good student. I got scholarship awards and leadership awards. I was actually the I got involved representing our optometry school on an international level, representing our school, and then became the president of our student body. My third year and my fourth year, I was kind of the wise fourth year pro tem, kind of thing. But I really got involved with leadership and student, that type of things. I really started to gravitate towards things that were gonna put me up front, and not in the back seat. I never was a backseat type of guy. I always wanted to be part of the process, and be right in the middle of the game. So I started to really get into all those extracurricular things outside of optometry. But a lot of it was just, hey, I want to be an advocate for optometry. So I got involved in state politics and optometry politics and that type of thing. And then eventually it led to national politics, as you may or may remember my story. I eventually did that, but maybe that's getting ahead of myself. But
I'm like,
anyway.
I don't know that I know that part of your story. I don't know that in our conversations in the past that is something that ever came up. It doesn't surprise me, not even a little. But yeah, I don't know that part of your story.
Yeah, so I back in the 2008, I basically, Ron Paul kind of started the whole Tea Party movement, and I
Right.
jumped on board with that. I was really attracted to that, like, where's Matt? Hell, we're not going to take any more kind of vibe, and we the people, that type of stuff. And
Kind of like
so
what's going on
I
right
got
now.
involved, and I ran for Congress actually in Arizona against Jeff Flake. Jeff Flake was he was a congressman that said he was going to run two terms, and he was running for his fourth. So he kind of got swallowed up into the cabal, the global elitist or whatever you want to call it. And now he's a senator, so he's really playing the game. But I learned a lot. I was like the Tea Party advocate, and endorsed. That was a long journey there, but a couple things I learned was politics was Latin for polys is many, and ticks are blood-sucking creatures, and
Right.
and that Congress is the opposite of progress. So, I can't get when it came down to it. I realized I was like Mr. Smith going to Washington. I was gonna, had this idealist gonna go to and change. And you know what? Like, no, you go there and you either play their game or you're not gonna get anything accomplished. So I realized that was not the way to actually accomplish a more free society, was actually being involved directly in the government.
I really appreciate you sharing this aspect of your story. Um, Partly because I don't believe, and I could be completely wrong, that too many of us know a person individually, or even on this interaction level, someone who has experienced government like that and actually knows, like, This isn't conspiracy stuff, people. Like, Easton's been in this. He has an understanding of it. He knows what it is, and he's speaking truth. And so I appreciate you sharing that little bit with us.
Thank you. Yeah, so I realized the best way to really create freedom, and it is an evolution type thing, but it's like, okay, I need to work on being free myself. And that in my mind, that was free from government constraints, but also economically free too. So that's, I think, why I was drawn to the company where you and I met, because that was a big part of their push and vision, was to be independent and to push for freedom all around the world. But obviously the evolution led me to the realization that the only true freedom is within yourself. And so that's what I've discovered, and that's how we're going to change. That's how we're changing the world, is by obtaining our own personal freedom spiritually. Honestly, that's what it's come down to. And I've never felt more free.
Right. I love that, because it's a path that I have been on as well. Always evolving. And I love, like I said earlier, what the change that I see in you. Like, I feel like I kind of know, like, the little boy Easton, because it shines through. It shines through. And that, like, really serious, you still had that I want to help you vibe. Like, I felt that from you, but it's very different now, and it feels more sincere and honest and heartfelt, and I love that.
Yeah, and the reason for that was I was in a company that was very egoic, and that's just the way it goes right now. In the way of the world, you just have the ego has been in charge for the last couple thousand years, but that's changing. But
Yes.
so when you are in that world, you learn. I definitely did. I still was very passionate when I was on stage, especially your teaching, and that passion came out. But I had been brought in and raised to understand, quote, techniques on how to sell and how to lead and how to get people to do what you want them to do, how to win friends and influence people type thing. But the cool thing about, like, that book itself is such a classic book by Dale Carnegie. If you read the book and you're like, when you actually read the book, you're like, this is what Dale Carnegie is saying: be a good person and people will like you.
Okay, there you go. Synopsis right there, like Cliff Notes. Boom. That's
So if you're not a good person, don't even try, because you're
right.
Eventually it's a house of cards, you're gonna crumble down on you. But if you really have love for yourself, then you're gonna have love for other people. It's gonna show through, and they're gonna like you.
Right. If nothing else comes of this podcast today, that right there, like, be a good person and people will like you and be drawn to you. And that's the influence you want anyway, because that's what they're usually missing in their own lives, or they're looking for the tribe like them. I love it. I love it. Be a good person.
Yeah.
I'm going to
Thank
take a
you.
note, so keep talking.
Thank you. But yeah, I mean, being a good person isn't something you learn in a book. It's something you remember, because we're all good. We're all good.
Yes.
And because that's the nature of life. Life is good. And so every person that's walking around this planet has the divine potential to create their entire world and the new world that we have. And that doesn't come from, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree, right? So whatever you believe, wherever your soul your essence originated from, it was a good thing. Good. And so only good can come from good.
I love it. Hey, will you do me a favor? What microphone are you using?
Oh, is that better? Does that sound better?
It just got a little bit robot-y and a little bit muted than it has been.
Oh, yeah, you're started off that way, but cleared up. But hopefully, is
That's
it better
better.
now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Okay, so let's talk about that. Only good comes from good, and what it means to be, in what you've learned, what does it mean to be a good person? How does one
Huh.
go about this? Because I believe many of us think that we're good, and I'm not you okay. I'm kind of digging a hole unintentionally. We are all good, but we don't always show behaviors that reflect that.
Yeah.
How about
Yeah. So, like I said, my view of it is that we intentionally we have this amnesia so we can come down and experience who we're not, so we can remember who we are. And so we might come down and we might have bad experiences. We might actually manifest the experience of quote being bad, but that doesn't mean that's who we are. It's just you have to drive the ego to craziness to wake yourself up. I mean, it's part of the process. So there really is no bigger picture. There's really no good and bad. I mean, there's really positive, there's negative, there's neutral. There's nothing else. And each neutral is amazing, but it's boring. So we
that?
wanted to
Right?
create these little dramas for ourselves, and the drama creates trauma. And the trauma is there for us on every level. When you talk about all five of your bodies, every level of trauma leads to drama. And that is an opportunity for us to heal ourselves. And then as we heal ourselves, we heal each other and heal the collective. And that's my biggest.
Oh, Easton, are you still there? Easton, can you hear me? I can hear you. I don't see your face on the screen either. I'm not really sure how to correct that. But I can hear you. Yeah, let's try that. All right. So while we're waiting for Easton to come back on screen, not really sure what's going on. Sometimes technology. This is me getting to practice what Easton just said. In that drama creates trauma, and gives us an opportunity to heal ourselves, to notice our patterns and the things that we have followed that create more drama and trauma. But it gives us that opportunity to heal ourselves and then heal each other and the collective. So uh, when technology goes awry, I tend to, in the past, have small freakouts. I see I'm going to stick you back in here. And so today, I love that I'm able to follow the pattern that we just talked about in noticing that this kind of incident creates a little bit of a drama for me because I'm not always sure how to fix it, which then feels traumatic. But then I remember like, oh, I know new patterning. I don't have to go back to those old ways of thinking or acting, and I can be patient while we wait for Easton to re-arrive, which he has. Welcome back, my friend.
Thank you. Your voice is a little roboty, but I think it'll settle down like it did before. So
Good.
hopefully, otherwise, I get to use the force to interpret what you're saying. Just kidding.
Oh, I'm like, I hope it's not that bad. I actually just plugged my computer into an Ethernet as well to see if that may solve some issues.
Okay.
You're coming in loud
All
and
right.
clear.
So I'm sorry. Go ahead. What was I? Help me back on that track.
Yeah, we were talking about how drama creates trauma, gives us the opportunity to heal ourselves first, then each other and the collective.
Yeah. So basically, when we have a traumatic event and we don't address and heal it at the time, which is very common, like I said, it's all part of the program, then those issues get stuck in our tissues. And so that's what leads to a lot of the physical manifestations of dis-ease, because we have not processed it, thoroughly. And so it shows up in our life at a physical level. And we think, oh, we need to go to the doctor because the doctor's going to help me heal this. Well, no, because everything, if you don't go to the soul level, you don't heal anything. You
I'm
just
a
cover it with a
firm believer.
band-aid. And you said, that feels good for a little bit. Can you give me some more of that? And we give ourselves drugs that block ourselves off from actually healing ourselves,
Right. Well, because if we
but
don't,
keep us stuck in our sickness so we have a good story.
right. Well, and we love our stories. I
Oh
mean, keep us
man.
safe. We know them. There are little monsters that we just like, oh, my precious.
My
And we love to hang on
precious.
to them. My
Oh.
precious. Oh my gosh. I love this line that we're going on. This stuff I could geek out on all day long. And helping people understand that just because you have a physical dis-ease, we're calling it dis-ease on purpose, friends. It doesn't mean something's it's just it's an alarm that like there are other things going on that are deeper. It's a warning signal like, hey, you missed something out here in your other bodies. Because I believe, and I know Easton does too, there's mental, spiritual, emotional, bodies, and then our physical. So this is what he's talking about, is when we miss some things or we don't have the tools yet, we get an ailment that then a lot of times we just focus on that, forgetting that there's an actual systemic reason that's more spiritual. And guess what? Easton has learned a lot about this, especially when it comes to the eyes. And let's move into that, Easton, because I want to make sure that we get you to your next appointment on time.
Okay.
Unless you have something before that feels right to bring in.
Well, the only thing I would say is the I'm not a big fan of medicine, period. Okay. So, as far as life-saving techniques and trauma, they're pretty good, that kind of thing. But general practice, it's called practice for a reason. But honestly, doctors really don't know anything. It's not true. It's not a true science. Medicine is not a true science. And the main reason is because most of what they learned, how they learned about the human body, was from cadavers. And cadavers have no energy in them. There's no life. There's no chi in them whatsoever. So they don't treat the body. They don't treat the bodies. They only look at the physical aspect of the body, which is just the lowest, densest, most form of us. And so they really, honestly, medicine, in my opinion, is not scientific. So that's my segue.
I concur with that. And would you also say that the physical body is also the most challenging, slowest to heal, if that's what we're working on, versus when we go to these higher energies, there are other quicker ways to actually heal these bodies and heal this body.
Amen, sister.
Yes. All right, let's hear what you had to say about what you've learned about using the energies in the bodies to heal the eyes. What's been your experience there? And like, preach.
Yeah, so January of 2020, I was in meditation, and my spirit basically told me that I needed to figure out how to heal my eyes and then help other people.
I can hear you. I'm hoping everyone else can hear you. That's so weird. Yeah, Easton. Easton, 1 second. Easton, can you hear me? Easton, we've lost you altogether. All right, you guys, I'm not sure what's up today, talking about energy. Um, and if need be, we will schedule a part two with Easton. I know that he's got an appointment at 2 o'clock. So let's see what happens here, and hang with me. Hang with me. And let's see if we can get him back on. And if not, I will make sure that we schedule another appointment with him and talk about this, even if we've got to do it in a shorter time frame. I just sent him a message. Hopefully he'll get that. And let's see what happens. There we go. Easton, I can see you. Let's try. Well, I don't know that they really caught much of anything when you blitzed off the screen. And I just said to them that if need be, because I don't know what's going on today. It's weird. Lots of energy.
I have a lot of energy, and it's a full moon.
Yeah, that's true. Very true. But I just was telling them that if need be, that we can schedule another appointment, even if it's just 30 minutes, and go back over this, because I want to make sure we honor your time. Somebody just said nothing about the eye story.
Okay. Okay, let me start over. So basically, in January of 2020, I was meditating, and my spirit basically told me that I was to heal my eyes, figure out how to heal my eyes, and then help other people do that on a big scale. So spirit led me to the right people to meet and talk to on the different elements of the regimen. The main element was the Tao of revitalization. So you may be familiar with Tao, maybe not, but Tao is the oldest science on earth. It's over 6,000 years old, out of China, and it's a philosophy, science. Some of the emperors turned into a religion, but it wasn't designed as a religion. In my opinion, all religion is personal. So I don't see it as a religion, but it's like it's basically Yoda. Okay, so that could sum up the Tao, because everything Yoda said was Tao. Okay,
I love it.
the Jedi is totally Tao, except for the fact that they were pawns, but we won't talk about that. But either pawns of the cabal. Anyway, but that's all part of the gig too. So anyway, the branch of Tao that involves re-energizing your bodies is called the Tao of revitalization. Vitality. So you're basically bringing more vitality, more life, more chi into your bodies, and you're doing that with acupressure. You're doing it with breath. You're doing it with intention. That's it. That is it.
It's
because
one of
we
those.
have the power. We are gods. We are divine. We have the power to heal ourselves. We have the power.
Yes.
That's the whole point of if you want to evolve, then you got to move on. And the only way to move on is to increase your energy. And you have to not just increase your energy, but what kind of frequency is that energy? And so all the doubt, all the whole technique is you're eliminating the stuck energy in and around your eyes, and you're replacing it with healthier energy in and around your eyes. Now, the cool thing is in traditional Chinese medicine, that there's meridians. Those are like channels in your body where the energy comes in and out. And you lose a lot of energy through your eyes. So a lot of people, when they read, they get tired. It like wears people out. And so they don't realize how much energy they're losing out of their eyes. And your eyes connected to your liver. A lot of people hold anger in their liver, and then eventually it can affect your eyes in different ways. So a lot of and I was an angry person. Trust my old self. I like to have fun, but in private, I was really not. I was a fiery, angry person, and so a lot of us subconsciously still hold anger in our liver, and we don't even realize it. So the cool thing about my technique is that the eye is the window to the soul. And so as you heal your eyes, you start to heal everything.
Like my mind is like, I know this stuff, and I'm still like, it's so amazing to me because it's what I teach as well. A little bit different way, obviously, but it's like this is where we want to be, right here.
Well, think about it. So here's your left eye is your, like I said, feminine, masculine, and so you get one perspective from this eye, you get another perspective from this eye, and the two together form your view, your three-dimensional view of the world, right? And so that's duality, and that's the biggest illusion that we have is duality because
Amen.
okay, but our third eye is what connects the two, and so that creates a trinity, and that's actually your entire world is actually not, you're not receiving images, you're projecting the images, and it's coming from your third eye. Your entire existence, your entire reality is created in your third eye because your pineal gland is the house of your spirit. If you think about your consciousness, your awareness of who you are, it's right in the middle of your head. It's right in the pineal gland.
Well, how many
So
times do we do this? We're like, oh man, like, you know?
yeah,
We
I
don't
would beat
even
our head
recognize
against the
what we're
wall
doing.
because our prefrontal cortex is what's keeping us from the center of our head, because this is our smart part. We think we're so
Right?
smart. Our ego lives right here.
Oh my gosh. I love this. I love this.
So I started these techniques. I was already doing some other things, which you may have know of. Isogenesis repairs your telomeres. That's a product by Isogenics. I was doing a Healy frequency technology, which is also connects to your higher self, and it tells you exactly how to balance your energies. I was and I was doing fascia work, which helps release tension from your connective tissue. The fascia is the bridge between your physical and your spirit. So it is really, it's so important. That's where we hold a lot of our tension, is in our fascia or connective tissue.
Right?
As you may know, it's most of our pain isn't muscle pain, it's fascial pain, because there's 6 times as much nerves in that. So when the eyeball, let's say you're nearsighted, your eye, you can't see far away. Well, if you stare at something for a long time, your yinning, your eyes, they're sitting in one, and what this fascia gets dense and gets stuck, it gets tight. And so that pulls, that stiffens the muscles that basically hold your eye. And as they do that, your eye, it pulls on your eye and your eye elongates, but it's adapting to an environment too. But
Right.
then those muscles hold that stuck energy from yinning too much. You're not moving your eyes around too much. So with my technique, I teach you how to stretch out, because there's memory with this stuff. So you have to do it on a daily basis. So you're basically retraining your subconscious, quote, mind of your eyes and the tissues to relax and go. And when those muscles lose their tension, and you can start doing circles with your eyes, bigger and bigger and bigger, and loosening those up, then your eye returns back to its natural shape, and then your vision gets perfect. I'm 54 years old. I do not use reading glasses, or I use nothing at all. I mean, I can see up close, I can see far, and there's not too many 54-year-olds that are doing that. Number one, most people have reading glasses at 54, but number two, they have other issues too. Like I got rid of my nearsightedness, my astigmatism. But here's really interesting, because emotions are tied into everything, right? So
Yes.
on an emotional body level, astigmatism is a conflict between your spirit and your ego. And so because it causes distortion. So when I let go of my belief that that I had to have someone outside of me that was going to save me, when I let go of that belief, I realized I was my own savior. My astigmatism in my left eye, this eye went away.
Wow.
It went away.
Wow.
So it's energetic level, whether as above, so below. So it doesn't really matter. When you work with energy, it hits all levels of your body. So you really
Absolutely.
don't have to worry about where it came from and all that stuff, and go back and, figure all the stuff out. That's another part of my healing, but it's another story. But when it comes to the eyes, you just know, like, hey, if I do this technique, no matter what caused it, whatever level it was, I'm going to release the dense energy, and I'm going to replace the good energy, replace it with good energy. You think about when their arms get too short. I call it short arm disease, or sad. We get sad. Most people get sad in their 40s. I got sad when I was 45. So what happens is the lens in your eye gets thicker and less, and every 1 or 2 years it gets a new layer, like an onion, and it gets thicker and denser and less flexible. When you do my technique, you're bringing in energy into the lens. You're basically decreasing the density of the lens. You're making it more energy and less matter. When you do that, it becomes more flexible again, and all of a sudden you don't need reading glasses.
It's so amazing. So the thought that keeps coming to my mind is this. It's the easiness of the way. Like we get so stuck in it has to be hard. It has to be hard. We got to do it through the physical body. And if you're listening today to what Easton is telling you, this really is the easiness of the way. And I would encourage you to find a willingness to trust this and try it out for yourself. I'm actually going to try it out for myself. I just said myself, how awesome is that? I currently don't have glasses, but I have noticed a small change in my vision as I have been experiencing some changes in my life, and which is another reason I felt drawn to you, because I knew you were creating this book and this program. So, Easton, tell us how one can find your book, how if they were to work with you, if that's something you do. And I'll make sure that I also put this in the comments and the notes. But
Yeah.
introduce
So
your book.
there's a couple ways to do this. What I've been doing until my book just got released on September 5th on Amazon. So before that, I have a website. It's Third Eye Doc, 3RDI, letter I, and DOCK, Dr. Kelsey, thirdeyedoc.com. And that's my website. If you wish to actually have a consultation with me, you can book it on there. But if you just want to get the book and be self-directed and do it that way, you go to Amazon. In the search bar, you want to put Healing Without Doctors, and then my book will come up on the first page. Now that's an ebook. However, this week I am putting, it's going to be in paperback by the end of this week.
So awesome.
Yeah, because because people have been asking about it. I'm the same way. I mean, I do.
I like the
but
pages.
yeah, I like to have it in my hand and mark it up and make it my own. That.
Have an experience with it.
Yeah. Dog ear and all that. So reference it easy. So that's coming by the end of this week. But it's 2020 Vision Regimen. And the subtitle, that's the name of the book. Subtitle is Healing Your Eyes Without Doctors. Okay. The word doctor means teacher. Okay. So your teacher is your higher self. That's your teacher. You don't need anybody else. I mean, like, I'm here because I'm an aspect of you. Okay. We're all connected. But, connect with your higher self on this, and your higher self's going to lead you one step at a time, like you were talking about, right, left foot, on anything in your life. But as far as your eyes go, your higher self's going to lead the way too. I mean, that's the true teacher. That's the magic, the magic within us, that divine aspect of us. And when you lean into that, and you get your third eye open, because your third eye is also the house of intuition. So once you clear your third eye, even though you're working on your eyes on physical level, your intuition is going to increase. You're going to start dreaming more. You're going to start dreaming more vividly, you're going to connect more to who you really are. And you're going to start seeing more things in your third eye. Because there are actually retinal cells, there's color cells in your pineal gland, and there's crystals. And that's something, when you hold your breath, you intentionally hold your breath where your pineal gland is, hold it long enough, and then you release that out. What you do is, it's called piezoelectric. You take that mechanical pressure of holding your breath, and then you let it out. It stimulates into an electrical signal because of the crystals in your pineal gland. And what that does is it creates a transducer boop, 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 out to the universe. This is my thought. And then if your heart is in the right place, because you manifest whatever you want, either way. So you want to be careful. The secret talks about, the scary thing about the secret, it talks about manifesting from your mind. The problem with that is you always manifest the yin and the yang. So if you manifest dark or light, you're going to manifest dark. But if you start manifesting from the little space in your heart, and that becomes your true magnet, you put out a heart-directed thought with your brain, and then your heart magnetizes it back to you, and that's how you create your reality in the fourth dimension.
Did you see that breath just happen like that? That's a ring true. Yep. You know it. You know it. Oh my gosh. There is so much more we could talk about, but again, I know you've got an appointment here in a couple minutes. Thank you for being with us. Thank you for sharing.
My gosh, Jen, I love you so much. With my new business, maybe we talk about that when I come back and on as a guest or something. But Rebecca and I are launching a new business called Be Evolved, and it's about basically this whole journey that we've had in the last couple of years. We want to help people navigate through their own awakening, through their own like in that little limbo land. A lot of people get lost in limbo. They like, what? I can't believe it. I believed all that stuff. And then they basically don't know what to believe. And my thought is, don't believe anything, doubt everything, and just experience stuff. And then you don't have to believe, because the heart always knows.
The heart always
knows.
knows.
This thing is called Be Evolved. It's Becca and Easton, Be Evolved. And we are actually developing, so follow us on Instagram and Facebook, but we're developing a television series. This is going to be major. This is our biggest project, but we're going to go out and we're going to be talking to people like Jen, and people are out there making a difference. We're going to be talking to, we're going to be coming and to all the people that are going through their own journey. And we're going to tie a big, huge community together. People are maybe just sleepy, and they're like confused, or they know something out there, they're just not sure what. And we're going to help them realize that every answer they need is not to go outside themselves, to go within themselves.
Oh my gosh, Easton, I'm super excited to watch this stuff continue to grow, and for you to fulfill that dream of like really, really serving people, and not just, as a doctor, but as a wise being and soul. And I'm just excited, and I'm excited for the opportunity to be a part of it, and to continue to learn from you and with you and all the things. to share.
Thank you, Jen. I love you so much. And honestly, when it comes down to it, it's all about truth and authenticity. Like that's what this whole gig is about. If that's not involved, then I don't want to be a part of that game. And you can follow us on our joint account, Insta and Facebook. I think it's be.evolve.
Okay.
be.evolve. So that's Instagram, Facebook. But we'd love to have you follow us on our journey, and you can watch me do some crazy stuff on there because I'm being authentic and truthful who I am. And that's kind of a fun guy, but not like a mushroom kind. But that's okay too. We can talk about that later, but not that kind of fun guy.
We can
Anyway.
have that conversation another day.
Yeah. Anyway, Jenna, I love you so much. I see you, and I really appreciate you having me on. And
My pleasure.
I look forward to, highlighting you on our show. Okay.
Thank you. It will be an honor. It will be an honor. All right, you guys, that's what we have for you today. And I feel like we're just going to end right there. Remember, if you take nothing else from this program, just remember that you just have to be a good person. And that you already are that good person.
You are a good person.
Yeah.
You just are. You don't have
the good person.
You don't have to do anything.
Right?
You are.
It's remembering that you're the mountain. You're home. This is home. And we just thank you for being with us today. Easton, thanks again. Remember, be bold, be brave, be a rebel. And we'll see you soon.
I love it. That's me.